Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
With more than half of America's adult population fully vaccinated, Americans are out in force.
I'm feeling free. No mess.
Air travel shattering not just records, but projections too. More than 7 million people screened at U.S. airports between Thursday and Sunday.
How about that? Living life large, back out there, pandemic over. Well, the pandemic is, as far as we're concerned, endemic means it's not going anywhere, it's still here. But we're there, baby. We're there. Back to normalcy, absolutely. Some things that you still see out there. You know, a lot of people walk around still with a mask in their hand, not quite sure what's going to happen. Nope. Okay, some people aren't wearing a mask. I'm choosing not to wear a mask. Feels good. I didn't do anything. Took a couple days off. Took a Friday off. Thanks, Craig, filling in. And, of course, yesterday everybody had it off. And hope you had a solid, safe Memorial Day. Tell you what, it was nice. It was very nice to just relax. Last year at this time, we didn't know what the hell to do. This year, we're like, all right, life's back to some normal way of life. Time to get out, enjoy ourselves, and we did. Now the question is, where do we go from here? We're not going back to where we were. Let's make that absolutely 100% clear. We're not going back to where we were. The push would be too huge. Vaccines, that's the big thing that people are looking at. Are we going to get vaccinated even more? How's it going with the kids? Are they getting vaccinated? What takes place from here? How long does it last? We still don't know any of those things. We're still trying to figure that stuff out. But the reality is we're not going back. Fauci came out and said, we got to be careful about the summer. Of course he did. Why? Because he's been so free-flowing lately. It's almost been crazy. But it's good. It's good.
Beginning today in hard-hit Michigan, restaurants can open indoor dining at 50% capacity. And in most of Pennsylvania, capacity limits and distancing requirements have been lifted for businesses, although some restrictions remain in place for Philadelphia. It comes as the country reports fewer than 20,000 new COVID cases per day, the lowest number in more than a year. But there is also a significant decline in the vaccination rate, now averaging just over 1.3 million doses per day, the lowest since January.
Yeah, because the people that want it got it. The people that didn't still aren't getting it. And the younger generation is up next. That is kind of easy to see. Most adults chosen to get it, they've got it. There's some out there that are agnostics, right? They're going to get it at some point, just not today. Why? Because everybody else got it, and it's a situation where I don't really if I want to drive over there. I mean, if it was in front of me right now, I'd absolutely take it, but it's not in front of me, so I'm not going to do it at this moment in time. So I'm just take a step back, and maybe next week, if I'm around there, I'll go get it. I got to call my doctor. I don't. Now the kids, right? The kids. Well, the kids get it. They seem to be getting it, not as much as the adults are. I think a lot of people feel like, well, the kids can survive it, and, you know, it's like, I think that, I think we should just let this thing play itself out for the kids. I'm not quite sure what it's going to do for kids. Maybe it hurts them. Maybe it doesn't. Let's just let it play itself out. Got the people on the Tik Tok talking about how they're going to be the only ones left, right? Because everybody else is taking this, and eventually we're all going to explode, which we all know is a bunch of crap. I've talked to a couple of those people. You watch what happens. I'm like, all right. It's like a date. Like, is there a date that this is happening? I mean, how long afterwards? Because we're heading into, for some people, it's been almost a year. I mean, is there a sell-by date? Like, when do you give up that ghost? When is that ghost like, you know what? I don't think this is what we thought it was going to be. Like, when does that happen? What's the date there? Because normally, right, you say, all right, here's the deal, you guys are stupid. You got this vaccine. You're going to turn into a plant, or you're going to explode, or something's going to happen to you, and you're going to end up dying, or whatever's going to happen. But a lot of these things, it seems to be rather open-ended. At what point do you go, you guys told me this was going to happen, and these people have had this for I don't know, a year, and nothing's happened. Oh, it's coming. When? Soon. But when is soon? Sometime. All right. Just asking. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Then, of course, you've got the let's get people vaccinated at all costs. We got Ohio.
How did you find out that you'd won?
My dad was driving me home from youth group, and then people from the state government told me in my driveway that I had won this scholarship from the vaccine entering of the lottery.
What did you think when you heard that?
I was pretty blown away with it. Yeah, really happy about it.
How weird is this, Joseph? One day you go to get a vaccine, and the next you're live on national TV.
Very weird.
He's a 14-year-old Joseph Costello, Ohio. He gets a free ride to college. Includes everything.
Colleen, tuition, room, and board. I mean, that really is fantastic. What does this full ride mean for your family?
It's really exciting. It means everything to our family. We've always wanted our children to go to college and made plans for that. So this was our hopes when we entered the Vax-A-Million contest, that maybe one of our children would win.
Let me decipher what Mom said there. We've always wanted our kids to go to college. None of them are athletic. They're good enough to get into college, but they're not good enough to get in there in a way where it's free. Now this is free. We've been saving money for them, which means that money now becomes our money, and we can get a vacation home and go to Hawaii. Then you got California. Governor Newsom.
That's an interesting job. Is that fun?
You're asking me if being governor of California is fun.
Yeah.
My gosh, this last year, it's been a hell of a lot of fun.
This new lottery plan.
Everybody that's gotten vaccinated in California is automatically eligible. We put $116 million up. And on June 15th.
Can I just say how much money that we've handed states that they've got a point where they're like, hey, we have so much money. We better figure out a way to give it away. Let's give it to people to get them to get vaccinated. We'll throw everybody in the mix. Wait, what? No, this will be great. We'll just hand out the money. We've got so much of it. They're printing so much money.
$15 million raffle. We'll be doing a series of raffles, $50,000, $50 gift cards. Unprecedented.
Only for people who've been vaccinated.
Been vaccinated and encouraging new people to get vaccinated.
That's a lot of money. This past weekend, right? So everybody's traveling, having fun. $135,000 at Indy 500. Helio Castroneves won it again. This is fourth. How about go to the race? Get vaxxed.
And it is time for the Indianapolis 500. You'll remember last year, there were no fans at the race. This year, it's going to be 135,000 people packing into the Motor Speedway here. And that's only, as you said, 40% of capacity. There's going to be the things you may expect these days. Masks are going to be required inside. There is going to be an attempt at social distancing. But there's one thing that's going to be very different than any other past running of the Indianapolis 500. And that is the ability to get vaccinated while you're at the race.
Yeah, so you have that. You get vaccinated as you get yourself a snack.
You can literally grab a burger, grab a beer, grab your one-shot Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine, and sit down fully vaccinated.
One shot, one and done. Keep saying that's the game changer. And they think they've figured out why there's been an issue with both Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca, which is good. But it just felt real this weekend. It felt like it did before. Out and about, hot, people out doing stuff, people weren't wearing a mask. That is a good thing. Psychologically, that is a good thing. Psychologically, that's something we need. And I always go back to this, right? For all the chaos and craziness that goes on in our world, and there's plenty of it. There's plenty of it. You know that, and I know that. We have a short attention span. If you're running in politics today, if you're running for something and you're up for re-election next year, even if you do something stupid today, we forget by next week because somebody else has done something stupid. And then we forget by next week that somebody else has done something stupid. Then we forget by next week that somebody else has done something stupid. And lo and behold, when time rolls around, we're like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that already. I think that's the good thing for a lot of this. It's the fact that there are a majority of Americans who were gun shy at first, getting back out there, that are going to do it. There are some that aren't. Some, but those people, have you ever noticed a lot of those people? And there's two or three that I work with who I love dearly, great people. They're always terrified of getting sick. So this just really threw fuel on that fire. So this has made that situation worse. But they're kind of that way anyways. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Hope you had a solid, fun weekend. A lot of stuff to get today. We're going to pack it all into a giant show, if you will. Raycon best earbuds around. Wore my Raycons all weekend. Golfed a lot. Did a lot of nothing. And I needed that. And you know what's really neat is sometimes I don't do anything. And I just love having my Raycons on because, you know, it's hot here. It's going to be really hot this week. We're heading towards that 110 area. But sometimes it's just nice to sit out back. I've got the misters and I relax and I've got my earbuds on and I don't even have to listen to the sound, the noise, nothing. I just love them. Wireless earbuds you can count on. Seamless Bluetooth pairing. Look amazing. Feel amazing. Different colors. Customizable gel tips that makes the in-ear fit even better. And they're built wherever you go. Quick, seamless Bluetooth pairing and compact charging case, right? So you charge it up, boom, away it goes. Raycons are the best. No wires, no stems. If you're looking for something that fits a budget that's right for everybody, but gives you quality that many people think you have to pay 2, 3, 4 times as much, it's about Raycons. Listen right now, 15% off, 45-day happiness guarantee. That's what I want you to do. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Grab yours now. You will not be disappointed. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
I usually don't get into politics. As an ordinary suburban housewife, I feel a little disrespected. I teach my children not to name call.
You are a blabbermouth! Come on, man!
Guys, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum?
Chad Benson.
And it was frustrating to me because there was no one on liberal media to defend Israel, really. We've become this country now where we're kind of one-sided on this issue. I would submit that Israel did not steal anybody's land. This is another thing I've heard the last couple of weeks, words like occupiers and colonizers and apartheid, which I don't think people understand the history there. I don't think kids understand, and when I say kids, I mean the younger generations, that you can't learn history from Instagram.
Oh, wait, Bill. Yes, you can, because it's totally real. In fact, it's so real you don't even know. New study suggests those of you who believe you can spot fake news are more likely to fall victim. Studies suggest people who are more sure of themselves and their ability to discern fact from fiction is actually less likely to do so. 9 out of 10 participants in the study indicated they were above average in their ability to discern false and legitimate news headlines. About a fifth of respondents rated themselves 50 or more percentile higher than their score warranted. Not a shock. About 9,000 people participated in this study, but it shows you. Part of that is what? Part of that is our bias and what we think to be so we don't go deeper in. And it's funny, they say 70% of people display overconfidence, and they're surprised by why this is such a huge number, that people can easily do something like this. And I talk about that because you listen to him. Like right now, Netanyahu's fighting for his life. It looks like his political life is close to being done. But this entire thing with Israel and Palestine and the battle that there is, and this is our land, you're occupying. Well, hold on a second. Are you occupying? How long were you supposed to? How long were you here? What map do you have? We went back. The Canaanites had it first, and the Canaanites are supposed to hand it over to the Jews. That's going to you start going and checking off stuff. It's amazing.
Jews have been in that area of the world since about 1200 BC. Way before the first Muslim or Arab walked the earth. I mean, Jerusalem was their capital. Okay, so if it's just about who got there first, it's not even close. The Jews were the ones who were occupied by everybody. The Romans took over at some point, and then the Persians and the Byzantines and then the Ottomans. So, yes, there was colonization going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. But Bill Maher hits it straight on the head here, and it's something I've always said. Palestinian people have their struggles and issues, even with the rest of the Islamic world. They're used as a scapegoat to be pissed off at the Jews, to hate them. But the reality is, most of them, they don't give a rat's ass. It's just another reason to be mad at the Jews. That's all they care about.
Hamas's charter says they just want to wipe out Israel. Their negotiating position is you all die. As far as Gaza goes, it's amazing to me that the progressives think that they're being progressive by taking that side of it, the Bella Hadids of the world. In February of this year, a Hamas court ruled that an unmarried woman cannot travel in Gaza without the permission of a male guardian. That's where the progressives are. Bella Hadid and her friends would run screaming to Tel Aviv if they had to live in Gaza for one day.
Yeah, exactly. 110%. But they don't care because it's about taking part of this goes back to, and we're going to touch on this throughout the show today. It's the opposite of whatever conservatives like. It's the opposite. If they like this, they like, oh, well, we got to go the other direction. No matter what it is, it's the opposite. Can't let somebody have a win. Can't be on the right side of that, if you will, because that right there is the wrong side as far as we're concerned. And they think that everybody who is, quote unquote, oppressed is somehow the good side of it. Not realizing, this is what I've said, the Palestinian people, you've got to remove them. There's three dogs, if you will, in this fight. There's Israel, there's Palestine, and there's Hamas. And Hamas is going to do what Hamas wants to do. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter, your Instagram. Happy Tuesday. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Costco is bringing back a pre-pandemic staple, food samples. The company eliminated samples 14 months ago due to safety precautions. But when those samples come back next month, they will look a little bit different. Workers will prepare samples in smaller batches behind plexiglass and distribute them one at a time, not those communal plates anymore. The company also making changes to its food court. Indoor seating will return with reduced capacity and social distancing.
Open it all up. My uncle sends me a picture this weekend. It's a perfect example of him and his my aunt and uncle are hilarious. They are exactly the opposite of what you'd think. So if you guys don't know, my uncle is a big Mexican guy, and I'm a big nutritionally overachieving. Absolutely. My aunt's black. So they took a road trip this weekend, and they sent me a picture from Sizzler. They're like, it's open. We're eating. No fear. Like, we've been vaccinated. We don't care. They're solid. Go for it. Go for it. Talk to a couple buddies. Some of the big buffets out there in Vegas are opening up. Absolutely. Live your life. This is part of that fun. Going and getting a sample. We're traveling again. Feels good. Feels like what it should feel like. Doesn't mean things are perfect. We got other stuff to worry about. Inflation being one of them.
When you talk about the economy, I think one of the biggest things that is hitting America is inflation. Secretary Yellen said we'd have a bump in inflation. We're on the verge of hyperinflation, supply chain issues across this country, and there's no greater tax on the American people and worse tax than inflation.
Yeah. What's that mean? Well, when everything goes up and your wages don't. Your dollar becomes less. Your spending becomes less. So you've got $1, but realistically, that dollar spending power isn't $1. It's not $1.05. It's not even 95 cents. If it's really 80 cents, that's not good. That's a tax. If you're wealthy, you easily absorb it. If you're in the middle, it's a struggle. And if you're below the middle, if you will, monetarily, it kicks you right in the grundle.
I know I was back in Kansas this weekend, and a $100 bill would not fill my Ford truck with gasoline. And I know there's a lot of other Americans that went to the grocery store this weekend. They went in there with their budget, and they walked home, they filled their refrigerator, they filled their pantries, and guess what? They were about half full, or 3/4 full. Certainly we're starting to fill it.
Yeah. Absolutely we are. I think most of you realize that. Stuff is more expensive. Gas being one of them, which is, it's because it's something you do on every 2, 3, 4 days, depending how much you drive. Last year, we got a break from it because many of us didn't drive. We stayed home. Not me. I drove more than I ever did. I'll tell you this. Last year, I drove 40,000 miles, give or take. Luckily, it wasn't awful. This year, I'd be like, I'm staying up here a couple nights more a week than I normally would because gas prices are ridiculous for here. California, it's super ridiculous. And they're raising taxes there, too, so they can pretend to build something. You're feeling this. And that supply chain that's broken, even one little place, everything needs to be spot on. We have poultry issues. Why is that? Texas had a nasty winter that lasted long enough in such a way that it killed a bunch of chickens, which is one of the supply chains. Your fuel on the East Coast. We saw what happens with the hack, but across the country, because last year we had a shortage of fuel drivers who can take the fuel from point A to point B. That sucks. Meat's more expensive. Everything's becoming a little bit more expensive, which hurts who? People who are living on that line, that fine line.
Thanks to inflation, COVID is no longer the top of the mountain for Americans' concerns and problems. I remember our pre-COVID economy, the greatest economy of my lifetime. And today I look out there and see the social injustices. Inflation is a social injustice. It certainly hurts those who are on the lower income portion more than other folks. It certainly hurts our senior citizens who are on fixed incomes. Folks who have young families, young hardworking Americans are impacted more by inflation than anybody else.
Senator Roger Marshall there. Inflation does. And that's that everybody feels that. That's that flat tax. We're talking about flat tax, a fair tax, just across the board. Hey, we're going to add X amount of percent to everything you buy, value added tax. And who's that hurt? Well, it hurts people who are on that fixed income. And the more that we go out, we throw money at stuff, which is, that seems to be what they really want to do. It's like, hey, how much money can we throw at things? Well, the more you print, the more there's a chance that we're going to get ourselves in a position of, we're not going to do the hyperinflation thing what we saw in the 70s. We're not going to get what we saw, or what we see in places like Zimbabwe and Venezuela, where everybody's a billionaire, but it doesn't matter because it's not worth anything. But there's an issue here that we need to address. And the difference between now and, say, 40, 50 years ago is we have people now in our Fed chairs who think they can manipulate enough of the marketplace, who think they can play enough around with it that will fight the inflation. Janet Yellen thinks she can do enough, right? That she can twist enough, that they can do a little bit enough. Money's cheap. Borrow it. Look, we're never going to be in a situation where we're going to be defaulting on stuff. I always hear that. We're not. But what we are going to do is we're going to put people who are already in precarious situations into situations where it becomes much more dire. And a lot of this has to do with stuff that's just beyond even their control, with the supply chain. I mean, what took place in the Suez Canal alone backed up things. You've got car parts that are minuscule, essentially microchips, that we can't get So car stuff isn't being made. You've got that supply chain because of COVID that's been broken. There's all kinds of issues. But the printing of money is one. And I don't even know what our economy really looks like. Through Obama, he did a pretty good job with the economy. Could have done better. That's my opinion. But I didn't dislike what he did. Through Trump, who I thought did a great job with the economy. And even now, the quantum easing and the pumping of money into the marketplace. What's our economy really look like? As far as the uppers inside of the stock market. Your 401k may look great, but what's it really look like in real life? Don't know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. I don't even know what to say anymore. Producer Phil always likes to remind us, stupid should hurt. Stupid should. We have the latest Tik Tok challenge. Don't do this. I've never in my life have thought, oh, I should try that. Right? Like, hey, that looks fun. Never. And I've always seen kids when I was growing up. They, oh, yeah, we're doing this, so let's all try it. I'm like, nah, you know what? I'm not an idiot. Right? Stupid should hurt.
Chances are you or your kid have TikTok, the social media app that lets you create short videos and share them. But an attempt at a TikTok mirror fire challenge is what the Crane family believes is the reason 13-year-old Destiny is now in the ICU.
It was unreal, heartbreaking. I don't think anybody wants to see their daughter on fire.
Light it up.
Yeah, nobody wants to see their child on fire. I think we can all go around. Unless your child is, I'm going to throw it out there, a little bit older, maybe they're a stunt person. And it's a stunt. You're like, oh, this will be neat. That's my daughter there on fire. As a child? No.
This is the video Kimberly Crane, Destiny's mom, and Andrea, Destiny's sister, say the teen was trying to recreate.
There was a capped bottle of alcohol sitting on the counter, and the whole side of it was black, and the whole side of it had busted open, and there was a lighter and a broken candle.
Firefighter Rob Garrison tells me these challenges put everyone at risk.
This is maybe one of the most dangerous things I've ever seen anybody do in my life.
The fact that you've got to look at people and go, all right, here's the deal, guys. I know you're going to try some stupid stuff. I get it, right? I get it. As kids. But know this. A broken arm is not third-degree burns. Okay? You'll take a shattered arm every day to months of rehab in pain you could not believe. Stay away from electricity, stay away from fire, and stay away from water if you're that stupid. You want to climb a tree and fall. When I was a kid, you climb a tree, you fall. Oh, no. Jimmy broke his arm and dislocated his arm. Oh, that's sad. Now it's like, hey, I got a great idea. Remember when Jackass was a show? And you'd watch it, and they're like, oh, they're going to try stupid stuff. Like, okay, those guys were idiots. But for whatever reason, we thought, hey, let's all try to do something stupid. I mean, I've done stupid things as a child, but not things that were like, hey, we should light each other on fire. I always knew, stay away from fire, stay away from electricity. And if you're going to do something crazy and you're going to jump into something, make it a foam pit, because water,
Garrison says when your skin catches on fire, it burns within seconds.
You can be standing next to a lake if you want and light yourself on fire. By the time you hit the water, you're probably going to have burns.
Destiny has been in the ICU since May 14th. She's had a tracheotomy, and doctors are now in the process of doing skin grafts on her arm and neck.
Monitor what your kids are looking at, because they can put themselves in dangerous situations without even realizing it.
You're not only putting yourself in danger, you're putting your entire family, anybody in that building, in danger.
It's just, I have never, how easy it is to influence people. You wonder why politics is sideways and people get influenced. Is it hard? Look at our kids. I remind Jack all the time, don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot on social media. Don't. You don't know who's going to come out and it's going to bite you in the ass. That you said something you thought was funny when you were 10 that now isn't funny. And by the way, you may say something that is absolutely benign and fine that people will say in the future. I mean, you can't monitor everything, but come on. And don't do anything with fire. Don't do anything with electricity. And for God's sakes, jump into the deep end of the pool, because everybody I know has got a story about a buddy who thought it would be funny to jump into something and now can't walk or use their arms. Was it worth it? No. Now we're like, hey, I got a great idea. Let's light you on fire. This will be great. It's a new TikTok challenge. I'm going to light you on fire while you put a bulletproof vest. It's not really a bulletproof vest. We're going to shoot you anyways. It's going to be great. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program, Car Shield. Car Shield. Said it right there. Car Shield. Gives you 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. You choose the shop. You don't have to worry about it. You're all the time. You know, something goes wrong with your car. People are making decisions right now. And the decision is, well, I don't have a payment and I don't want a payment, but how do I protect myself? How do I protect those covered repairs? That's what Car Shield's all about. That check engine light comes on, you don't have to worry. When something breaks, Car Shield's there to help you and your wallet by covering covered repairs. AC goes out, GPS starts working, Car Shield is there. It's incredible. They have administrators who take care of everything. You can get to pick your own mechanic to take it to. That's what's great about that. They have monthly coverages that fit your budget. So what are you waiting for? If 1 million people have been helped by Car Shield, they're America's #1 auto protection company. They are ready to help you. Go to carshield.com today. Use code Benson. You save yourself 10% right there. So carshield.com, #Benson. You can save yourself 10%. Carshield.com/Benson, You go there. Look at all the stuff they have. See what you can get. I'm telling you guys right now, it is worth it. Protect yourself. Carshield.com/Benson. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here. Just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
There are people out there worth saving. And a solid sign we're all eager to go to the movies again. A Quiet Place 2 is projected to debut with $58 million over the 4-day holiday weekend. That's a pandemic earnings record and about what the sci-fi horror sequel was expected to earn before the pandemic delayed its originally scheduled March 2020 theatrical release.
What was your name? Cruella.
Disney's Cruella also had a good weekend, taking in $26.5 million through Monday.
I want to make trouble.
Yep. How about that? Feels kind of normal. I love it. I love it. Called my buddy, saw it. Michael saw it as well. Quiet Place 2 said it was awesome. As good, if not better, than the first. This weekend, coming up, again, short week this week, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, the latest in in the biggest, movies that we've seen released. And some now, what you're seeing in the movie industry is they're looking at these dates and going, all right, because they thought, well, these things aren't going to be, these movies are ready, but, God only knows when they're going to let people get back out there again. So we'll just kick it till either late into the year or move it to 2022. Now some of them are going, time to move back. Let's move back. Let's pick a weekend and just go with it. Quiet Place 2, though. I'm going to go see it sometime probably this week. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Lost some people over the weekend, including B.J. Thomas.
Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me when you hold me in your arms so tight you let me know.
Yeah. So they would say it comes in threes, right? So B.J. Thomas, Hooked on a Feeling. Don't forget, the raindrops keep falling on my head. Died over the weekend, had lung cancer. He was 78 years old. And, of course, hey, won't you play another Somebody Done Somebody Wrong song? I liked him. Hooked on a Feeling is like, it got new life, obviously, because of, there was this huge love of this kind of 70s, yacht rocky kind of country-ish, classic rock stuff after the Guardians of the Galaxy. And he got new life in some of his stuff, but it's one of those ones. And then the Captain Steubing, passed away.
Gavin MacLeod is best remembered for 2 television shows. On the Mary Tyler Moore Show, he was Murray, the news writer.
Murray! Now, just what you're going to say.
From Mary Tyler Moore, MacLeod went straight to... It became MacLeod's signature role.
I'm Captain Stubing.
While critics dismissed The Love Boat as shallow, MacLeod once told me...
I know it was called mindless television, but a lot of people want mindless television.
Gavin MacLeod enjoyed his TV fame. No matter where I go, he said, to some people I'm Murray, but it's mostly the captain.
Yep. I'm going to say this. I had met him on more than a few occasions, living in Palm Springs. He had lived there for quite a long time, and he was always in the station I worked at out there. He was always in our station. He was good friends with the morning guy. Like, they were really good friends, and he was always there. He was very nice, just a really nice guy. He was 90 years old, but yeah, as a kid growing up, I mean, obviously I knew Mary Tyler Moore, I'd seen some of the reruns and stuff, but I always go back. The first quote-unquote star I ever met was Isaac from the Love Boat. I met him at Long Beach State when I was at a soccer camp. Love Boat was massive. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. What if it would be buried at sea? Wouldn't that be it? Like, was that what you do for him? I think so. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The holiday weekend brought scenes of American life like we haven't seen in more than a year, from parades to barbecues. And at the box office,
I don't know why you came all the way up here.
A Quiet Place Part 2, earning $57 million over the long weekend, the biggest 4-day theatrical opening since the beginning of 2020.
What's that mean? Feels like we're back to normal, because in a lot of ways we are. Now it's, what does normal look like? Does it look better than before? Why not? Why not? It's endemic, not pandemic. We're going to have to learn to live with this thing. We did. Through this thing, we did. Around this thing, we did. Now we're going to have to learn to live above this thing, meaning it's not going anywhere, at least not right now. We don't know how long, if you've been infected, how long the antibodies stay in there. New studies say you may have, even a mild case may give you protection forever. But we don't know that. We don't know how long the vaccines last. What we do know, though, is it feels like things are good. People travel. We have massive numbers. We got the 4th of July, which is just over a month away.
One airline executive says the surge in travel is just getting started. If you thought these travel numbers were big, just wait until the 4th of July. Experts say those numbers are just going to be huge.
Because people want to be out and about doing stuff. Thank goodness we're out there doing stuff. Why is that? Vaccines, number one. Good portion of people in this country have already had this thing. Number two. If you listen to our little dog and pony show, God bless you for that. But we've always said we're not getting there by vaccines alone. Some of it's going to be the natural side of it, people catching this thing, surviving this thing, building up antibodies, so they really don't have any other place for this thing to go. So if you're in a room full of people and you've had it, it's basically going to bounce off you. Hey, I've already been there. We can't do anything with that. We got to go to somebody else. The more people that had it, had the vaccine, the less hosts that it can find, and that's the way this thing will go. And that's what we want to hear. Heading back to the normal way of life, which is what we need. Some people will struggle still. Some people will. Some industries are going to struggle. That's the reality. But we've got issues when it comes to things like meat, for God's sakes. Meat. People are frustrated because, well, got a shortage.
I mean, we're out of ribs already today because we've sold out of them. So it's just kind of, people get upset.
People do. Upset. We don't have the supply chain the way it used to be, because while we may be starting to fire on all cylinders, it's a global world. Everything from microchips to all kinds of certain situations, certain things, situations from the Suez Canal to other countries struggling with COVID and they're not being in a position to open things up again. All of these things have a break in that chain. But we're back. We're back. Still doesn't mean that things are perfect. They're not. We have things that we have to figure out what we're going to do. Work being one of them. How are we going to move forward with that? A lot of people still out there looking for work, and I'm going to go back and say this again. If you had a job and your job is back, so you had a gig, right? And the coronavirus came in and all over your gig. But now they've come back to a certain extent. Either you're not invited, so you need to get a new job, or you don't want that gig. But we shouldn't have to pay for it. It's time for you to get a gig. You don't have to marry your next job, but it's time to get out there. Goes back to that pride thing we talk about. What's this pride thing you guys speak of? It's okay to have pride. It's okay to have some pride, people. It is. Pride's a good thing. Used to be, that's what, people wanted to work. People wanted to do stuff. Now it's like, well, the government's going to pay me more not to work. Why should I? Right? Why should I? It's a fair question, right? Who wouldn't? Some people, though, the pride thing really gets to them and they want to go out and work. But at the end of the day, I think some people are making choices like, hey, if I don't have to, I'm not gonna. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. I found this interesting, and I say that because it's spot on in the real world. Our show, we do stuff different here. I didn't want my show to be 24/7 politics. A lot of shows out there like that. That just isn't me. I'm 50 years old. When I get together with my friends, we talk a little bit of politics. We talk a lot about life. And I think too many people are absorbed with politics, from television to social media and everything in between, and everything they do is politically based. And that's no way to live.
It's not good for this country to be talking about politics 24 hours. Say that's not who we are.
We're fighting about politics.
Well, or even talking about politics, obsessing about politics. People looking at MSNBC or Fox 24 hours a day, or CNN 24 hours a day. I feel like, then to Ferris Bueller, what are you still doing here? Go out, do something, get out,
Yeah. And I've got people that I deal with on a daily basis. It's all they want to talk about. It's like, dude, I don't want to talk about that. Because you don't care? It's not about whether or not I care or don't care. It's just that it's not life, man. I got family, I got kids, I got a life. I enjoy other things. I play golf. I go to church. I do a lot of different things. People ask me, do I unwind? Hell yeah. It used to be tough for me. To take a vacation. It used to be tough for me to unwind. It used to be tough for me to, now I don't even, I don't watch. People ask me, do I watch these shows like Fox, CNN? And I said, I don't. I said, because to me, they're there to stir an emotion. They're to rile you up, to affirm you and your belief in something. They're not there for anything other than that. Social media. Over the last 6 to 8 weeks, I've just kind of gone very minimalist on that. If I tweet something, I ghost it. And the reason's simple, because it doesn't matter. You could say happy Monday, happy Tuesday, happy Friday, here's to the weekend. Hey, have a good... It doesn't matter. Somebody's going to have something negative to say. After a while, you just sit back and you go, my God. It eats at you. It's like, why are you so angry? Why are we so pitted against one another? And that's what we are. We're pitted against one another. We got to the point now where it's like you had journalists in the last election actively, unashamedly, just talking about it afterwards. Go read that article in Time Magazine, how it was, as they call it, a cabal of big tech and journalism trying to take down a president. You don't have to like Trump or don't. Like I said, I liked his policies, didn't like the personal side of a lot of stuff he did, but that's neither here nor there. The reality is that's scary. And people just live in this world, and I don't know how people do it. I don't. There's a guy that's at the Capitol riots that's now saying, you can't prosecute my guy because he's got foxitis. Because he just watched Fox 24/7. That's all he did. He just watched Fox 24/7. So he's got foxitis. It's ingrained in him. I'm like, whoa. And you even talk about other things to your family, your friends. Talk radio is one of those things where it's, you usually think, what, it's talk radio, right? It's usually going to be to the right, some to the way right, and all they talk about is, and I'm like, that's not all I talk about. All kinds of stuff I talk about. Coronavirus, a little bit of it. Talk about UFOs, but he laughs at me. Not laughing anymore. Right? Talk about a lot of different things. Talk about movies. Talk about life, which is the way it should be. Conversation. As opposed to indoctrination. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. I always tell everybody, my favorite thing in the world is when people get mad at me for something I didn't say because they're not listening. They just want to get mad at somebody. I get that all the time. People just fire stuff off. And you just sit there and laugh. You're like, you're not even paying attention. That wasn't even me. Didn't matter. They didn't care. They just wanted to be mad. And I guess we're a sounding board for a lot of people. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Omaha Steaks. Perfect example of something to talk about. Father's Day is coming up, right? It's not too far away. You're looking at the 20th, day summer begins, even though it feels very summery. It's time to start grilling. Give something that Dad's going to love. Give something that not only is he going to love, that you're going to be able to partake in, if you will. It's the Get Out and Grill assortment. 4 10-ounce butcher cut strips, 4 boneless chicken breasts, 5 Omaha steak burgers, 4 gourmet jumbo francs, 16-ounce package of Omaha steak fries, and 4 4-ounce caramel apple tartlets. You get the seasoned salt there. That's the seasoning, the signature that's just amazing. And on top of that, for Dad, they're going to throw 4 New York strip burgers, and they're absolutely free. It's the Get Out and Grill assortment. It's delicious. It's from Omaha Steaks. And I'm telling you guys right now, I've already mowed through mine. I've got 2 boxes from them, and they're gone within days. We grilled a little bit this weekend, as did a lot of people. Dad will love this, and so will you and your belly. The Get Out and Grill assortment. Go to omahasteaks.com. Go to the search bar. Type in Chad. Simple and easy. omahasteaks.com. Type in the keyword Chad and the search bar. Get all of those amazing things from the butcher cut strips, which, by the way, age 30 days, which equals tenderness. That's why that's important. The jumbo franks, the steak burgers, but they're also going to throw in New York strip burgers. Absolutely free. 4 of those. omahasteaks.com. omahasteaks.com. Keyword is Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Hashtag me too. Hashtag immigration reforms. Hashtag help. I'm trapped in a hashtag factory and I can't get out. The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending.
What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? All right.
Let's take a little peek, find out what's trending in the world of worlds. First, it's the Google. Texas Democrats walk off the House floor, block passage of restrictive voting bill. So that's how they're going to stop it. Is that all you have to do? Just walk off? Is that it? Just say, we're done. We quit. We're taking our ball and going home. Even though we're not in the majority, we quit. Why would you pass anything ever at this point? You just walk away. We're done. I don't want to be involved in this anymore. Black Wall Street trending. Well, Twitter and Google. 100 years ago, just yesterday, 300 people died in one of the biggest attacks of racial violence and domestic terrorism in history. Black Wall Street, Tulsa, 35 blocks, predominantly black neighborhood was destroyed. People were killed. It was awful. We'll touch on it a little bit later. But it was a situation where you step back and you look, man, A, we've come a long way, but B, what took place that day? That's one of those things where you talk about what took place. Pointed out the inequities and the evil that lived at that time, but also how far we've come. Can't do that now. Can't. Naomi Osaka is trending because she withdrew from the French Open yesterday. She didn't want to do any media, so they fined her $15,000 for not doing mandatory media interviews. She then participated in some weird, like, one-word, I'm only here so I don't get fined kind of thing, and then eventually she pulled out, said she's been struggling with several different issues. It was silly. Apparently she was threatened to be disqualified from the tournament over her media boycott. Here's the thing, it's a business, right? It's a business. And especially when you're an individual, A, be thankful somebody wants to talk to you, and B, it is a business, and people want to ask you questions, and sometimes they're stupid questions. Sometimes they're ridiculous questions, and sometimes it's a struggle. Should they give you space at times? Yes. But this is a major. They didn't want to do that. She decided to pull out. Head on over to Google. Little Loaded died. Lil Loaded. I'm not laughing. First of all, some of these names are insane. It's not very nice, Chad. Yeah. Real name Deshaun Robertson is 20 years old. He's known for his viral track, 6 Glock Baby. We can't play any of it. It was certified gold just last week. And he wanted to thank the dopest fans on earth. That's what he put in his last Instagram. How he died, nobody knows. By the way, he was arrested last year on murder charges. But eventually he had been indicted on the lesser charge of manslaughter, supposedly killing his best friend. Only 20 years old. Born in San Bernardino, California, before he moved to Dallas. 20 years old. 20 years old. Also, John Davis died. You guys don't know who he is. He was a kind of famous singer. I think it was the best way to describe him. If you don't know who he is, back in the day, for those of you who are older millennials, there was a band called Milli Vanilli, and I use the word band loosely. So you had Rob and Fab, these two guys who looked like a pumped-up version of Terrence Trenton D'Arby. That's probably the best way to describe them. And they were like models, and it was, they were these Euros, and they had this huge album, and then they found out that they really didn't sing. They were just kind of the front men for these other singers. John Davis sang, Girl, It's True. And he passed away at age 66. God, I just remember that. Then they won the Grammys like a night before, and then it started to swirl that stuff was coming out, and all of a sudden they're like, the devil made me do it. It was the music industry. I mean, it just shows you what the music industry is all about. Do you look good? Yeah, all right. We'll find somebody to sing for you at that point. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. One other thing is trending. Karen. We're going to tell you why Karen's trending. And also, why now when it comes to the Wuhan virus and the theory? Why now? People are starting to admit it. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
There's a lot of concern about an emerging deadly fungus, in particular one called Candida auris. It is resistant to every antifungal medication pretty much, and there aren't a lot to begin with.
Wait, we got fungus now? Anthony just sent me some. There's a new bird flu. Some sort of weird cross-strain, weird, nutty bird flu that's out there, and somebody's come down with it. Chinese man. Chad, don't say that. It's the H10N3. Now we got fungus? Just never ends. By the way, the Chinese Health Commission has identified the 41-year-old as a resident of Xinjiang, or Zhenjiang, in the Jiangsu province. Totally know where that's at. I don't. Let's look it up. Find out, right? Like, this is what we're about. We're about exploring. We're about learning. We're about learning. It's the third smallest, but the fifth most populous, most densely populated of the 23 provinces of the People's Republic of China. About 39,000 square miles, population just about 81 million, and now we've got some sort of other weird flu happening over there. It's not very nice, Chad. It was diagnosed on the 28th of May. He's been hospitalized for a month. Multiple symptoms. Stop me if you've heard this one. Fever, aches, pains. The majority of human cases, they say, when it comes to bird flu, stem from the exposure to infected poultry and other contaminated environments. The strain is relatively less severe than the other strains of bird flu, but now I got to worry about this fungus.
This is something that environmentally we're starting to see more of. People are starting to become sicker. And then when you talk about how to prevent it and treat it, it's hard enough to develop antibiotics because there's not a lot of money that goes into the research and development of that. There's even less when it comes to antifungals. So people are trying to work on treatments. They're trying to work on potentially even a vaccine.
Then I was reading this week that climate racism. I'm like, wait, the climate could be racist? How's that work? How do white people control the climate? How's that even possible? You don't even understand, Chad. It's happening. It's happening. White people are controlling it. Like, okay. And then with the global warming, well, hold on a second. Now I hear the sun's getting ready to take a nap. So we could be heading to an ice age. I'm like, it's all chaos. No, it's not. Catches your attention. Right? Catches your attention. The media is there to do what? Get you to watch, to pay attention. But there are also times when the media plays its game. Both sides have their media. I tend to think we're above some of that fray, but yeah, not always. Come on. But I'm going to give you facts, give you figures, the whole 9 yards. We're going to do all we can to find everything out we can about a story when we give it to you. Give you all sides, but I'm going to give you my opinion on it. I've said since day one, China knew probably a lot more. When you started going back and seeing what they did at that Wuhan lab, when you started going back and seeing what was going on at that lab, the minute there was any kind of issue there, what ended up happening? They shut everything down. They stopped access for the outside world, much of whom was spending money there, who had access. It was supposed to be kind of an open platform. All of it disappeared. But you talked about it, you were labeled things like a xenophobe, and you were labeled things like you're a conspiracy theorist, and you were saying, no, it's because they don't want to talk about it. Fox, to its credit, would have people on saying, hey, this is what I think happened here. And they're like, oh, that person's nuts. That person's crazy. That person's not real. They're a lunatic. They're conspiracy theorists. You had people who were like, I'm a Chinese doctor. I was in China at the time, and this is what I think happened. I'm like, that guy's not real. But lo and behold, things are starting to change. People are asking questions, and yeah,
And yes, I think a lot of people have egg on their face. This was an idea that was first put forward by Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State, Donald Trump. Look, some things may be true even if Donald Trump said them, because Trump was saying so much else that was just out of control, and because he was talking about Kung flu and the China virus, he said flatly that this came from that lab, was widely dismissed. But actually, there's some real reason. We don't know, by the way. We still don't know. We absolutely don't know. But now serious people are saying it needs a serious inquiry.
He's the president of the United States. And yes, this is the part of the thing where Trump blew it for himself. Biden didn't win the election. Trump lost it. Little things like the Kung flu. I don't care that you call it the Wuhan flu, right? Because it's what you want to call it. The Wuhan flu, whatever, that's, I mean, why would you do that? Why do we call the Ebola virus the Ebola virus? Anyone? Oh, because the Ebola River. What about MERS? We don't call it the Southeast. We don't call it the Northwest. It's the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. Oh. But people wanted to make it about Trump. Trump can't be right. Did you see people celebrate when hydrochloroquine didn't work the way that Trump wanted it to work? The way that, by the way, most human beings want it to work, because they want Trump to be right. They didn't want the people on the right to be right. So rather than say, well, is there something here? Should we ask serious questions? No. It was, this guy's awful, and he's horrible, and we don't like him because he's orange and he's a meanie. But any human being who had any common sense could have gone, hold on a second. They have one of these labs that studies this and also does gain of function. Remind me what that is again. Oh, that's where they go and they play with these viruses, trying to orchestrate what may be the next pandemic by changing some of these things. And in doing so, hoping that they'll get a jump on it should one of these viruses pop up out of the wild, that they will already have a big inroad into solving what could be a crisis. Where's that done? Well, it's done at one of these labs right here in Wuhan. Where was this come from? Well, it's come from Wuhan. Anybody with common sense could have said that. The want for them to have Trump be wrong overweighed the fact that you're supposed to be a journalist. Doesn't mean it was true. But to even ask the question, you got shut down. Facebook, Twitter. To even ask the question, oh, you're a bad person. You can't ask that question. What's the way he asked it? Just because you don't like the way he asked something didn't mean it was wrong. Didn't mean it shouldn't be asked. We're at that point now where you can't even ask a question. And yeah, it does matter. It matters big time. A lot of people are asking, well, does it really matter?
How important is it to know the origin of COVID?
Absolutely essential, Chuck, and here's the reason why. This is now our third major coronavirus epidemic/pandemic of the 21st century. We had the original SARS in 2002, 2003 that arose out of southern China. We had Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome come out in 2012. This is the third one, and Mother Nature's telling us what's going to happen. There's going to be COVID-26 and COVID-32 unless we fully understand the origins of COVID-19.
But the thing is, what's good to know is, yeah, it's good to know about these things. That's what gain of function was being done. So many people say, yeah, you're playing God with things because you're altering stuff that shouldn't be altered, and the potential to get out is real, which I saw two intelligence agents over the weekend say, these things get out all the time. I was like, sweet goodness, what? Yeah, we're not good at this. Sometimes, stuff happens. People get it, and they're just like, I don't feel good, but I'm going to go out and do stuff. I'm like, I think Jeff should stay here. Who's with me? Who thinks he's bleeding from his eyes. Who thinks maybe it's not a good time for him to get a Jamba Juice? But it's good to know, because could these things be weaponized? Absolutely. We've talked to Gordon Chang on the show, who, while we brought him on early last year, said, don't be surprised. China's been working on stuff for a very long time with gain of function and what could potentially they unleash on the world. He said some stuff. I'm like, I don't know if I believe that, but I don't know if I don't. You have to prove it to me. But it's important to know these things because could have something been done earlier? Did China cover this up?
What I'm concerned about is I think the intelligence community has been all over this for the last year and a half. It's not like they've not made efforts. I'm personally of the opinion that we've pushed intelligence about as far as we can. What we need to do is we need to do an outbreak investigation. We need a team of scientists, of epidemiologists, virologists, bat ecologists in Hubei province for a 6-month to year-long period and fully unravel the origins of COVID-19.
But you're not going to get that. And the reason is simple. China would never allow it. The Wuhan lab, when the WHO came to Wuhan and did their little thing, do you remember that? So they go and they do their thing, and then they have that impromptu press conference where they drag all these people up in white coats, talk about how it didn't start in the lab, and that could never be possible. And they're all sitting there looking perplexed because it's the same way that they went about going to check on whether or not North Korea was ever going to get a nuke or Iran's working on a nuke. We're going to wipe everything down. We're going to keep it clean. We're only going to show you the things that we want you to see. And then in turn, you're going to give us whatever it is that we ask that you give us or else. That's not the way that works. The bigger question, though, what if? What if it did? What then? We're going to talk on that because that's something that I don't think people want to bring up in the what if scenario, especially now as we emerge from this and hopefully what is seeming to be a growing economy that does have some bumps in the road in front of it and the potential for some squabbles, maybe even militarily. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Plus, great story about Karen. Oh, Karen. My Pillow, baby. My Pillow. You've never used any My Pillow products. They're awesome, right? They are. Sleep is absolutely important. You know, I was talking to one of my cohorts here. He gets here early like I do. He does the morning show at the local side here in the station. And he and I were chatting, and it's the one thing he does. It's like, dude, I got to get sleep because more and more studies are showing lack of sleep, long term, you pay a price for it, especially when it comes to things like dementia, things of that nature. So he goes and gets to sleep early. Right now, MyPillow's offering the best. The MyPillow for $29.98. It's a $40 savings, $5 more for a king size. Never goes flat while you're sleeping. Withstands washing and drying. Made in the USA, 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. Lowest price ever. Take advantage of it. It's less than $30. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener square, enter promo code Benson or call 800-983-4975. Use that promo code Benson. Take advantage of all the deep discounts on all the products, from the Giza Dream Sheets to the My Slippers, the Premium Pillow, everything right now. Less than $30 for the MyPillow. Use promo code Benson. Call 800-983-4975 or go to MyPillow.com. Use that promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
And yes, I think a lot of people have egg on their face. This was an idea that was first put forward by Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State, Donald Trump. Look, some things may be true even if Donald Trump said them, because Trump was saying so much else that was just out of control, and because he was talking about Kung flu and the China virus, he said flatly that this came from that lab, was widely dismissed. But actually, there's some real reason. We don't know, by the way. We still don't know. We absolutely don't know. But now serious people are saying it needs a serious inquiry.
And it does. And it does. But here's the thing. You have to ask yourself, how tough do you want to be? Who's in it with us? Let's just say, for the sake of argument, our intelligence, and it'll be backed up probably by several other agencies, because they'll all be working together. They come together and say, all right, here's the deal. There's no doubt that it leaked from the lab. It was not nefarious. I'm just playing things out in my mind. Go with me here, kids. It wasn't nefarious, but the cover-up was. Because remember, it's not about the Chinese people. It's about the Communist Party. It's about protecting the brand. That's the Communist Party. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, the intelligence community comes together, the Interpols of the world, right? The us, the Mossad. I mean, everybody comes together. And we say, all right, it was real. They knew about it. It got out. They lied to us. What do we do? And who's in it with us? Who's in it with us? That's a fair question. Who's in it with us? It can't just be us, right? Because everybody's always asking us, "Oh, you guys do it. You fight the dragon." It's called the dragon. You fight it. It's got to be all of us, right? Australia, us, Europe, the whole 9 yards. This thing escaped even nefariously from that lab. They lied about it, hid it. They knew about it much longer than they let on. Then the question is, who goes with us?
So how can the Congress help President Biden? We should put together a sanctions regime against China, put in place sanctions until they fully cooperate with the international community to find out the source of the virus. I don't think without sanctions, without international pressure, they're ever going to help. So you can look at this till you turn blue in the face. The only way China's going to respond is when the world makes them respond.
It's got to be the world. And then if it is, how do you make them pay? That's questions that only Republicans are asking.
Only sense I have is a sense of relief that we're finally going to try to find the true origins of this virus. And I think all the evidence points towards those labs in Wuhan. And if we find out that's the origins of this virus, then China really needs to pay. They haven't paid enough yet for unleashing this plague on the world. I don't think that China's going to reveal what happened in those labs anytime soon. I think they're going to continue to try to cover it up. And if that's the case, I think it's reasonable for the American people to draw the conclusion that China is covering up an accident in those labs.
So, how do we do it? Obviously, sanctions. It's got to be sanctions. And if it wasn't nefarious, you have to ask the other thing. What if it got out on purpose just so they could see, and we found that out? That's essentially war. Those are questions that people right now who are coming out of a pandemic don't probably want to hear. They don't want to hear sanctions and potentially a long, drawn-out trade war and battle, seeing goods go up, our chains are already being broken when it comes to supply chains. We don't want to see that. But there would have to be a response. Where the world leaders get in a room with Xi and say, here's the deal. Do it again. And it's going to be ugly like you couldn't believe. And quietly, you better figure out how to get this stuff straight. Be interesting to see. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
On Monday alone, over 1.9 million people were screened at U.S. airports over the entire Memorial Day weekend. Close to 9 million went through U.S. airport checkpoints. Numbers far exceeded what was expected. Airlines say the travel boom is very real right now as they rush to add flight crews and planes.
Yes, it was huge, shattering records. And guess what? We're a little over a month away from another enjoyably big holiday, 4th of July, which will be on Sunday this year. So people are going to be taking off probably Friday and Monday. And the boom is real because we want to get out. We want to do stuff. We want to get back to what we had which was a normal way of life, where travel was an everyday occurrence.
One airline executive says the surge in travel is just getting started. If you thought these travel numbers were big, just wait until the 4th of July. Experts say those numbers are just going to be huge.
Huge, massive, huger. People are enjoying themselves. They've been cooped up, even though things are a little bit more expensive. It's a crunch when it comes to travel. I don't really want to wear the face mask, but I'm gonna. I don't really want to do it, but I'm gonna. Because I want to get out of here. I want to go spend some money. I want to go see my family. Right? They were calling this past week, it's like the great American reunion. People want to get back to living, and that's what they're doing. Question is, how long is it going to last? I don't think we're ever going back to what we saw early to middle of last year. Mass, things shut down. That's just not going to happen. Will we have spikes in some places? It's possible. The reality is, though, with vaccination available, with a number of people catching this thing and having it, we were looking at the numbers. I mean, our COVID numbers right now. So our COVID numbers, let's just take a look at our coronavirus numbers. January 8th, 300,626 people. 7-day average was 260,000. May 31st, 7-day average 17,000. New cases 5,600. That's what you want to see. It's what's going to happen from here on out. Still think we'll have some spikes here, some spikes there in certain places. But the reality is life is back. And we're dealing with it the way we should be, by living our lives, by spending money, by getting out there and working, by getting out there and seeing family, by getting out there and doing the things that we should be doing. Now the question is, where do we go from here? Vaccine rates aren't what they were, and that's expected.
Beginning today in hard-hit Michigan, restaurants can open indoor dining at 50% capacity. And in most of Pennsylvania, capacity limits and distancing requirements have been lifted for businesses, although some restrictions remain in place for Philadelphia. It comes as the country reports fewer than 20,000 new COVID cases per day, the lowest number in more than a year. But there is also a significant decline in the vaccination rate, now averaging just over 1.3 million doses per day, the lowest since January.
That's to be expected. Those who have it, they've wanted it. Some people have gotten the virus and the thing, you know what? I've already had the virus. I survived it. I'm not going to get the vaccination. But then you can have those people out there who just aren't going to get it for whatever reason. Then you've got the agnostics. That's what I call them. Yeah, maybe I'll get it. I get it when it's convenient to me. And people are they're dumbfounded by that. They're like, oh my God, what do you mean when it's convenient to you? Why not now? Why not? Why not? My on-air partner from my other show, he would have done anything to get the vaccine. He'd have pushed an old lady down a flight of stairs if he thought it was going to get him the vaccine sooner. It's not very nice. I know, right? I was desperate for it. For me, I'd already had it. I was like, I get it when I get it. But it shows you, some people, they wanted it bad. Others, it's not their top of mind. They're doing things differently. They're going to get it probably at some point in time. And when that's going to happen, it's the more natural aspect of being at their doctor's office for something that has nothing to do with the coronavirus. It's a checkup, right? They twisted their ankle really bad. They want to talk to their doctor. Should they go get an MRI or something? And your doctor is going to say, hey, have you gotten the vaccine? No. Well, why haven't you? The ones who aren't going to get it, they're just never going to get it. So it doesn't matter what you offer them. You offer them free everything. It doesn't matter. They're not getting it. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Yesterday, so you've got this voting rights bill. I want to talk on this, and we're going to touch a little bit throughout. But the voting rights thing in Texas is very interesting. You don't know what they're doing. And I love how it's it's either voting restriction or voting rights, right? It's like we're either protecting the vote or we're stopping people to vote. It depends on who's writing said article. Look what they're doing. And this goes back to this last election people felt was tainted. They felt that state governments across the country took advantage of an opportunity when it came to voting, and several of them did go against their own state constitution. Other people who weren't elected as officials decided to do some stuff. He took a step back and he said, okay, look, those are all very, very, very fair questions. And then you've got what's happening in Arizona, which just makes you scratch your head, because no matter how many times you talk about Arizona, no matter how many times they do the things they're going to do, none of it seems to add up the way that they want them to. And that frustrates people.
We already told you about how they were using 5K cameras to search for traces of bamboo on ballots to find out if they were smuggled in from Asia. They think there's bamboo in the paper because it was smuggled in from Asia. They think Trump watermarked the real ballots. They think Hugo Chavez, who died in 2013, rigged the election. And they think the ballots were eaten by chickens who were then incinerated. This audit is crazier than one of those viral cooking videos where someone grinds up a hamburger and turns it into a milkshake.
Yeah. Those are all things that people believe. But you go and look, and Republicans believe something happened in this last election. And because of that, they think, well, we should look at it. I got zero problems with looking at stuff. Here's my thing. The problem I have is no matter how many times that you tell somebody, even if they look it up themselves, no matter how many times you show that, and they still don't believe it, that's the problem. The problem is you are, for all intents and purposes, trying to please people that will only believe one thing. So Texas, like a lot of other states, is deciding they're going to do some different things when it comes to the election and the way they're going about doing it. Some of it is, it's funny because it's the way the media reacts, and the Democrats are freaking out. Oh my God, this is voter suppression, blah, blah, blah. It's the usual stuff. You don't, all you have to say is, hey, we're doing something here with this election. It could benefit everybody and make it easier. But if you don't tell anybody, right, if you just throw it out there, people on the left are going to say, oh my God, it's voter suppression. And the people on the right are going to say, oh, it's just because you want illegals to vote. It's insane. So the Dems decided, no, we're not going to take place in this. We're taking our ball and we're going home.
They were outnumbered, so they decided to use the one tool that they had left. They decided to walk out of the chamber. They left it so empty, there were not enough members to even have a vote. The bill that they were protesting would significantly restrict voter access. It would ban drive-through voting, restrict mail-in ballots, adding a new voter ID requirement, and pushes back early voting hours on Sunday, a time when we know black residents head to the polls after leaving church.
Do I think some of these things are ridiculous? Yeah, I think some of them are. Early voting, I find to be, I have no problem with that. I don't. Voter ID, though, I also would have a problem with. Right? That's the other thing. Should we, to this day, it was like, well, people can't get an ID. Well, why can't you get an ID? Well, because you're black, they don't give IDs to people who are black? Because that's really what we're talking about, right? We're talking about the black vote. So they're not going to give an ID to you? You're like, hey, what are you going to do with this ID? Well, it's my license. Are you sure? Or are you going to show people so you can vote? Because if you're going to do that, then we can't give you an ID. They're not doing that. And by the way, most people, adults of all colors, tend to have an ID because kind of the law. So both of them have the games that are played. Do I think that in some cases they're overreaching? Of course. Do I think in other cases that it's blown out of proportion? Absolutely. But when it comes to things like voter ID, it's the dumbest thing in the world. You should, as an adult, you should have an ID. And if you don't have an ID, it's because you made a conscious choice, A, not to get one, or B, for whatever reason, you can't have one. But then you find out you actually can. Because you can get an ID, a state ID. It's nuts. So the Dems just walked. They're like, we're out of here. It's voter suppression. We're done. We're done. And then, of course, they celebrate because that's what you do.
A furious
But here's the thing. As you go and you celebrate all of these things, you're not stopping it. You're just postponing the inevitable.
Says,
I can't even blame it on the other party for walking out. They got an opportunity to walk out because of the deadline.
Yeah. And they'll come back over and over again. It's frustrating. It's stupid. But here's the thing. States are allowed to do what states want to do. That's why you run the candidate you think is going to win, do the things that you want them to do, and you put them in place. And when that happens, then that state can either change or keep the pace that you want it to go at. That's the beauty of states' rights. People hate it. It's voter suppression. Some of the stuff is silly. I absolutely agree with it. But a lot of it is overblown because that's what we do. And how do you believe anything any of the media tells you? You're the media. I'm not journalistic media. I'm a talking head opinion goofball that does a better job at being honest than a lot of other people. 323-538-2523 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. You can tweet at us, text the program. I'm going to tell you the whole thing as we can see it. Remember, data, no matter how bright, no matter how brilliant, no matter how wise you are, the wisest man can look like a fool with bad data. Democrats, we're leaving. Okay. That's it? That's all you have to do now? Just leave? Why would you ever get anything done? Hey, did you guys hear this? People in Texas just left? And then what? Well, there's nothing to do. So we should just do that. It's problem solved. Sounds good. Rough Greens, solving problems. My dog Doodle, crazy over the weekend. What's great about this time of year is it's warm. It's usually good for his hips, but he's still kind of one of those dogs who's older. He's never really super active. He's so crazy active now, and it's awesome. And it's Rough Greens. I'm telling you guys, it's amazing. It's got vitamins, minerals, vegetables, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9. It's got all this great stuff, and it's a supplement you just put on top of your dog's food. They love digestive enzymes, probiotics, all those things. It's awesome. His skin and coat are better. He's happier. He's healthier. But his joint pain, his arthritic hips, he's got better mobility than he's ever had. And I'm telling you guys right now, it works. Right now, try it before you buy it. You pay for shipping, they're going to get you a bag for free. Visit roughgreens.com/Chad, ruffgreens.com/Chad, or call 833-MyDog77, 833-MyDog77. You will not be disappointed. It's Canine VitaSmart, the powder that goes right on top of your dog's food. You watch what it does. Roughgreens.com/Chad. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Wanna be boys? Give me a bowl of chili with plenty of peppers. One Mexican heartburn. Why don't you mugs grow up?
The Chad Benson Show, where independent, a la carte thinkers have a seat at the table and a voice in the dialogue.
I'll have what she's having.
This is Chad Benson.
Twice this year, police in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, in the heart of the Ozarks, say somebody broke into locked storage units and made off with dozens of boxes of Little Debbie snack cakes. The first heist occurred New Year's Day. Detectives thought they'd have the suspects in custody in no time because they had pictures of the getaway car, but so far, no arrests have been made. Then this last week, thieves made off with boxes of the snack cakes from another locked storage unit. Once again, the search for suspects has come up empty. Police hope a security video of the heist they posted online will help them track down the culprits.
It's got to be an inside job. And I look for somebody who likes to eat. It's just me. I mean, what? Somebody's stealing Little Debbie? What? Yeah. Yeah, somebody's snaking Little Debbie right there. That's not very nice. What do you do with those? It's a small town. Like, who do you sell it to? Just take it. Hey, I got a line of some Little Debbies. You do? What's it? Yeah. I'm moving some weight. Serious stuff. You're the Pablo Escobar of snack cakes. Hey, hello, friends. Hello, how are you? You've upset me. I give you diabetes. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your name. Is the name of the show. You can go there, check it out on Instagram. We got Twitter. We have all of those things. So Karen, you guys know Karen. You guys know Karen. It's not always used in a nice way. It's funny. You just type Karen in. Pejorative. For a woman seeming to be entitled, demanding beyond the scope of what is normal. It's true. The name itself is taking a battering, for those of you not keeping score. Fewer newborn girls in the U.S. were named Karen in 2020 than any year since 1932. Actually fell off the top 1,000. Yeah. Think about that. Fell 171 spots. Was 831, 2020. 660 in 2019. But last year, crash. Its best year was 2003. It was 141st. Since then, it's been all just sideways for Karen. It's not gone well. Karen stayed in the 200s, 2000, just under, well, really to 2011. And then from there, it started to roll. But these last 18 months have been hell for Karen. Karen. So funny. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Tell you what, watching some of these people talk about, apparently Trump thinks he's going to be reinstated by August. That's what he's telling some people. And listening to people talk about some of the stuff that they think is going to happen and how we should do it.
Biden is just, he's like a puppet president. The military is in charge. It's going to be like Myanmar. What's happening in Myanmar? The military is doing their own investigation, and at the right time, they're going to be restoring the republic with Trump as president.
What's going on in Myanmar right now? The government took over, and they're redoing the election, correct? That could possibly happen here, possibly.
Would you like to see it happen?
Absolutely.
I would like to see it happen. Really? Yes.
You know why? Because the election was stolen from us.
Donnie joins us now.
I didn't know what to say at that point in time. By the way, Myanmar or Burma, longest running civil war, I think, in the world. There's a coup, it seems to be all the time. It's like one of those things where some of those countries on maps and the globes, they should just come, like everything else should be pasted in there, and then they should come with like a marker. Certain countries in Africa, places like Myanmar or Burma, because that way you can, okay, today it's Burma. Okay, it's People's Republic of such and such, or it's the Republic of Congo. Well, no, today it's crazy. It is. And no, is it going to happen? Doesn't mean you can't ask questions, right? Like, I am totally fine. We can ask questions about some of the things that took place in some of the states. Fine. Ask the question. Shouldn't be wrong to ask the question. People make it feel like it's wrong to ask about the question, but it shouldn't be. Should absolutely be able to ask about questions about certain things. Can I ask a question about the way that some of these elections took place? The way that non-elected officials did things? Yes, it's fair. You want to have an audit of something, that's fine. But when you don't get the answer you want, you continue to go back and back again. That's the frustrating side of stuff. And when you hear people going, oh, yeah, I'd love to have a coup. No, you wouldn't. You're an idiot if you think that'd be great. You're an absolute idiot if you think, hey, it's a great idea. We should have a coup. But we live in a world of stupid. And by the way, both sides full of stupid.
And it was frustrating to me because there was no one on liberal media to defend Israel, really. We've become this country now where we're kind of one-sided on this issue. I would submit that Israel did not steal anybody's land. This is another thing I've heard the last couple of weeks, words like occupiers and colonizers and apartheid, which I don't think people understand the history there. I don't think kids understand, and when I say kids, I mean the younger generations, that you can't learn history from Instagram.
Yeah, Bill Maher. This is what I talk about when I talk about stupid. Oh, yeah, it's just like apartheid. It's like Sun City. Don't play a concert there. People are canceling. They're saying the craziest things. Still trying to figure out why, right? Like, that's what it is. It's the why. Because people don't pay real attention. They don't bother to learn. We should have a coup. You know, it'd be great. Let's have a coup. Let's have a coup. It'd be awesome. We'll have a coup. Let me tell you. The military's big enough to decide they want to have a coup, hoping they reinstate the person that you want. That military's also big enough to realize they can have a coup reinstating whoever they want. However they want it. Oh, yeah, I never thought of that. You mean it's not just from my side? No, it's not. Listen to Bill Maher there. It's so right. It's like we live in this world where people are just nuts. They just don't get it. They don't want to get it. They don't understand. Oh, this is about, look at the Palestinian people. This isn't about the Palestinian people. They're the ones who pay the price for what Hamas does. Now, Hamas pays a price too, but at the end of the day, Hamas doesn't care about the Palestinian people. They don't care at all.
Hamas's charter says they just want to wipe out Israel. Their negotiating position is you all die. As far as Gaza goes, it's amazing to me that the progressives think that they're being progressive by taking that side of it, the Bella Hadids of the world. In February of this year, a Hamas court ruled that an unmarried woman cannot travel in Gaza without the permission of a male guardian. That's where the progressives are. Bella Hadid and her friends would run screaming to Tel Aviv if they had to live in Gaza for one day.
Absolutely. But, Chad, you don't understand what it's like. I mean, this is their land was stolen. Was it? Let's go back through time. Now, we traced it all the way back to the Canaanites, which, in theory, they've traced in 2017 to what would now be modern-day Lebanon. Somewhat. Everybody's had some sort of piece of land. But if we're going to go back map after map after map after map, well, hello.
Jews have been in that area of the world since about 1200 BC, way before the first Muslim or Arab walked the earth. I mean, Jerusalem was their capital. Okay, so if it's just about who got there first, it's not even close. The Jews were the ones who were occupied by everybody. The Romans took over at some point, and then the Persians and the Byzantines, and then the Ottomans. So, yes, there was colonization going on there.
Yeah. But it just shows you. And the insanity of it all. And the wokeness. It's funny. Did you see the BBC reporter who tweeted out Hitler was right? She's Palestinian. Hitler was right. She's deleted it. But she did this not last week. She did this. These are unearthed. It's insane. It really is. Like I've said, there's 3 in this quote-unquote fight. There's Palestine and the people over there who are getting thumped. And it sucks. It does. You have Israel, and then you have Hamas. Hamas doesn't care about either of them. All they want to do is kill the Jews. That's it. That's it. Period. People buying, oh my God, it just shows you. It's like stupid people on all sides. We are... The stupid is strong. The stupid is absolutely strong. And that's sad. But it's very true. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Case in point, this in the stupid is strong world.
My name is Tanner Cross, and I am speaking out of love for those who suffer with gender dysphoria. 60 Minutes this past Sunday interviewed over 30 young people who transitioned but they felt led astray because lack of pushback or how easy it was to make physical changes to their bodies in just 3 months. They are now detransitioning. It's not my intention to hurt anyone, but there are certain truths that we must face when ready. We condemn school policy because it will damage children, defile the holy image of God.
Yeah. His name's Tanner Cross, teacher in Virginia. He's opposed to pronoun usage. And of course, you know, in this day and age, you got to watch what you say. I mean, that's absolutely it. You watch what you like. Oh, you know, even men can have. No, they can't. Men can't. Now, somebody who identifies as a man can have a baby, but an actual physical underneath the meat suit can't have a baby. It's not possible. That doesn't work that way.
I love all of my students, but I will never lie to them regardless of the consequences. I'm a teacher, but I serve God first, and I will not affirm that a biological boy can be a girl and vice versa because it's against my religion, it's lying to a child, it's abuse to a child.
Take out the religion part of it. Some of the stuff's absurd. We've had multiple people come on here. I've had people that have come on the show and talked about detransitioning, saying, hey, you know what? All my problems, they still followed me. That wasn't one of them. And nowadays, it is. If I took my son, who's 10, to get a tattoo, I'd be in huge trouble. I would be. Doctors are afraid today to say anything because they're afraid, they're going to strip me of my license and do all these things. They know they're in trouble. They know. They're looking at the road going, you know what's going to happen? I'm not going to say anything because I'm afraid of what may happen now and the consequences. What's going to happen down the road, which you're seeing in Europe right now, in particular the UK, is now they're all getting sued because you shouldn't have let this happen. It's nuts. So, of course, this guy wants to get rid. Let's get rid of this guy, this Tanner guy. How dare you?
It's amazing to me that we see a Loudoun County School Board ignore and absolutely trample on Tanner Cross's constitutional rights to express not only his religious beliefs, but also his right to free speech at a time when they invited such a discussion, and now they're trying to cancel him simply for expressing his views that are in the best interest of the children and expressing his faith. It's absolutely shameful.
Take out the faith side of it, right? As a person who follows God, I take out the faith side of it. I'm just talking about his free speech side of it. So I don't believe what you're saying. Not going to be mean. I never would. For me, I don't care what you identify as. Just tell me what you want me to call you. If your name is Steve, used to be Linda, but now you go by Steve, I'll call you Steve. If you used to be Steve, but now you go by Linda, that's fine. If you want to change every day, I'm not playing that game. I'm also not going to BS. Not give it to you straight. That's what I do. I think that's the way most people should want it. And by the way, I do believe that if you talk to older transgenders, people who've done it, and done it in such a way that it took them a while. It wasn't immediate. It was several years of therapy and things that. If you talk to those, they'll say, you know, a lot of this isn't good. Their voices will be silent because you can't have that kind of conversation.
What we're seeing right here, right now in Loudoun County is the liberal left waging a cultural war, and the victims are our children. And who's standing up for them? Not the politicians, but in fact, parents and teachers. And who's going to stand up for the parents and teachers right now where the school board isn't and politicians aren't either? We will not teach critical race theory, and I will stand up for teachers and parents against these kinds of cancel culture initiatives.
Yeah, it's punishment culture. And usually when I find that people want to punish everybody and shut them up is because what they're saying has a truth in it. Some of it is more truthful than others, but people don't want to accept that. Like I said, a lot of what you see right now is things that 15, 20 years ago were shown in a different way. It was cutting. It was suicidal thoughts that were real. It was alcohol and drug abuse. It was anorexia. Now it's something else, and it's showing in that form. And it's like, wait a minute here. There was 0.0001%, and now you go on a campus and it's like, oh my goodness, it's like, 12 of them. That's crazy. Can't have a conversation because we've allowed feelings to override facts, which is stupid. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's what took place in the last election or whether something potentially could have come from Wuhan. Can't have a real conversation anymore. Because to do so, you would upset somebody, and upsetting somebody and their feelings is going to make them mad, and that's just stupid. It's okay to ask the question. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say you have a right to not have your feelings hurt. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Car Shield, 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car is in the shop. You choose that shop. It doesn't matter what it is. Let's say a car breaks down, right? Check engine light comes on. You're like, oh, geez, how am I going to pay for it? That's where Car Shield comes in. You give them a call. They'll get you to the place that you want to take it to, the place you trust. From there, they get them paid directly. You pay a small deductible. It could be your GPS, could be your AC, could be your transmission. They've got plans that are right for everybody at a price that's right for everybody. Check it out for yourself. Over 1 million drivers have been helped by Car Shield, and they're ready to help you. It's America's #1 auto protection company. Why don't you check them out online? Go to carshield.com, carshield.com. Use code Benson right there. When you do, guess what? Save yourself 10%. Carshield.com, carshield.com. Code Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
And oh, by the way, who's standing up for Tanner Cross? Actually call on that school board right now in Loudoun County to reinstate Tanner Cross fully, because they have absolutely ignored his constitutional rights. And oh, by the way, his best interest is the children right now. Mm-hmm. They should reinstate him right now.
That's Glenn Youngkin, the candidate for governor, gubernatorial candidate in Virginia. Talking about Tanner Cross, a teacher who's been suspended, I guess, for criticizing trans. You're criticizing? No, I'm just saying some of the stuff that we talk about is absurd. Especially at some of the ages. We're just talking off the air. Like when I was, Jack was, he's 10 now. It's going to be 11 in a few days. When he was like 4 or 5, we were just talking about, he wanted to be a fire engine. I'm not talking about like a fireman. He wanted to be a fire engine. At no point in time did I thought to myself, well, he says it, so. And it was like a year. It wasn't like a, it's like, oh, Dad, I want to be. And I'm just like, well, we should probably go out and start crafting some metal and see how we can, fasten it to his body. It's nuts. Can't have questions? You should be able to. 110%. It's okay to have questions and your beliefs. That's the beauty of it. But there's an article in the New York Times, and it's disrupting racism, right? Republicans battle against American schools. No, they battle against some of this stuff that's insane. I'm with them 110%. I don't want to hear half the crap that they're spewing out. I've seen what my Jack has gone through, and in particular my little brothers. I think it's all a bunch of crap. And the way they twist the words and stuff. No, let's have real conversations about everything. If your whole goal is to just basically say America sucks and white people sucks, kick rocks. I'm not interested. If we could talk about a full conversation about everything, from where we've been to where we were pre to here and beyond and where we've come from, okay. If it's all just about, hey, you need to tell everybody you're white and you suck, well, then you know what? That's nuts. Can't have conversations. Can't have nice things. Can't have anything anymore because everything's built on feelings, and we've allowed people the flea to wag the tail that wags the dog now, and that has to be stopped. Somewhere along the line, common sense culture has to come in and say, you know what? If you believe you're a girl or a woman, that's fine. Zero problems with it. People are going to have questions. Some people may disagree. Be aware of that. But you can't tell them they don't get to exist or we don't want you around, just like I wouldn't like them to tell you that. But it's okay to have conversations. Nah, never. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Solid, fun day. Hope you guys had a good holiday. I'm back. Do it again tomorrow. And by doing it again tomorrow, we'll have known that today was Tuesday, so we had tacos. That means by tomorrow we'll be getting ready to go up that hump and get over it. Have a great day. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.